The following contest is a second round match in the Kings of Consoles tournament to determine the greatest game in the history of the Nintendo Entertainment System. 2 games enter, only one can advance. Introducing first, the 61st Seed, a 1990 graphic adventure from Lucasfilm Games, Maniac Mansion. And its opponent, the number 4 Seed, a 1989 action platformer from Capcom, Mega Man 2! Your ringside judges are Ricky Giraldo and Pat Dooley. There's nothing left to say but round 2, fight! Hello and welcome to episode 60 of Kings of Consoles. This is the podcast where we're trying to find the best game for each home video game console by means of giant tournaments. This is our 24th second round matchup.
Yeah.
This means we're closing in on round 3. It's getting here close. It is, of course, Mega Man May. So we are taking a look at the number 4 seed in our tournament, Mega Man 2. As it takes on number 61, Maniac Mansion. I'm Pat Dooley.
And I'm Ricky Giraldo.
And yeah, Mega Man May. It's technically May. So maybe that's what the problem was last week, was we started Mega Man May a week early because there were 5 Mega Man games and only 4 Thursdays in May. And so we had to do one of them in either April or June. And so we pushed the first one back to April and it lost. To start
loose, yeah,
which was a bit of an upset. Not a huge one. It was the 35 seed beating the 30, but it's still Mega Man dropping a game at the beginning of Mega Man May. So we will
kind of crazy.
It's pretty wild. So let's see how to which we'll come right out and say it. It's basically the crown jewel of the series. It's the Super Mario Brothers 3 of the Zelda my next metaphor was going to be it's the Breath of the Wild of the Mega Man games. It's the Mario 3 of the Mega Man games. It's the Halo 2. Is that the one everybody thinks is the best of the Halo games?
Yeah, I believe so. Halo 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what this is. This is the gold standard. But it is up against a heck of a game in its own right. So let's start with that. The number 61 seed is Maniac Mansion, which is a 1990 graphic adventure from Lucasfilm Games, later just LucasArts. It's a point and click adventure, like a lot of their, like the Monkey Island type games. And in round 1, way back in episode 33, it beat against Ricky's desires, Little Nemo, the Dream Master.
I still disagree with everything about this, but
I went back and played some Little Nemo the other night, and it still holds up. It's a fun game.
We chose the wrong game.
I disagree with that, but it's still fun. This one, I don't know. I'm just one-hit kill games just bugged the heck out of me, and there was a lot of that in just like narrow platforming in Little Nemo that I would rather get captured by Weird Ed in Maniac Mansion, and the audience agreed with me, and that's why it moved on. So did you have basically the same experience this time around, or like, this is not for me? When will this hour be over?
This game is just not for me, man. And it's same with the point and clicks. Just, I don't vibe with it. I think they're boring. I don't know. This just wasn't for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. There are genres that click with people and don't with others. And I think we learned early when we played Shadowgate in one of the first couple episodes that I actually kind of like them. To the point where I went back, and after it was eliminated from the tournament, I went back just to beat Shadowgate with help from a walkthrough. And I mean, we haven't picked a winner yet, but like it's up against the number 4 seed. Like I'm pretty sure this is the last stand for Maniac Mansion, but I'm still going to go back and try and beat it with a walkthrough in the future, just so that I can see how the story plays out. But yeah, I mean, it's, if you want to hear more about, you know, the backstory of the game, you can go back and listen to episode 33 on, you know, whatever app you're listening to this on. But I mean, there's not a lot to talk about with the game without getting into spoilery territory of what parts of the game we played and saw, since it's such a story-driven game rather than a, you know, I liked the mechanics of jumping on the thing to shoot the thing. Like there's none of that. It's like, you know,
No, it's
I
just
thought it was fun putting the cassette in the recorder and playing the piano and then giving it to the tentacle. Like that's, you know, that's the kind of puzzle solving you're doing in Maniac Mansion.
exactly. And let's be honest, the main problem is that it's up against Mega Man 2.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and that's a huge detriment to it.
and
Is that
not only
it
that,
was
I
never
had,
going to stand a chance, even if it
yeah,
was your
I
kind
had
of
2
game.
hours with Mega Man 2.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so we might as well just get into it.
yeah,
Mega Man.
if people don't know what Maniac Mansion is, just a quick recap. It's like you're in a mansion. It's haunted, I'm guessing, right? By like
There
aliens or
is an evil meteorite that had crashed there 10 years ago and had like infected the brains of the people that lived there. So it's not really haunted,
right.
but the
It's
people
not.
that live
You're
there
right.
are like possessed by it and are trying to bring the meteorite back to kill everybody. And you're
Right.
like the main character's girlfriend has been abducted by these crazy people, and so he breaks into the house with some friends to try to rescue her. Yeah, so that's the basic premise, and then you find
I have no idea what this story is about. I'm just like, wait, what? I'm just in this mansion collecting things
yeah,
and following the arrow where it
that's
tells
a
me to go.
that's a lot of the early game is like, well, I don't know why I'm gonna need this bowl of wax fruit, but I probably will at some point. So you just go around collecting things.
And
But yeah, so
I get,
the doctor and the nurse have a son who is like starting to rebel against the idea of the meteorite coming back and killing everybody. And so, and they also have, there are 2 tentacles that live in the house. One is good and one is bad.
yeah, and
And
you could play an instrument that would do like a mating call for the tentacles, and it's just a very weird game.
it's very, very weird.
Very, very weird.
The Lucas Arts people were just weird cats in general.
George Lucas was like, "This is a hit."
Because I mean, like the Monkey Island games are super weird and are very much, you know, in the same vein. Like there's, I can't remember which game it is, but there's an insult sword fighting mini game at one point where you're sword fighting somebody, but in order to like effectively parry and attack, you have to come up with a better insult than the guy you're fighting. It's just that kind of meta gaming humor is kind of all over this. So I really like it. It's very much my sense of humor, but I can see where if it wasn't your type of thing, why it would be really unpleasant to spend an hour with it.
It's just weird, and like the parents are blue, and
yep. Well, that's how you can tell
are,
they're altered.
oh
but I
my
don't
god!
They needed to be blue because I don't think they were blue because they wound up making a TV show after the fact, and I don't think they were blue on the show. But yeah, so that's Maniac Mansion. It's I mean, at this point, it's a sacrificial lamb because it is up against Mega Man 2, which we might as well just get right into. It's a 1989 action platformer from Capcom. After having lost to Mega Man in the first game, Dr. Wily returns with a new fortress and 8 new robot masters. Metal Man, Airman, Bubble Man, Quick Man, Crash Man, Flash Man, Heat Man, and Wood Man. To this day, it is still the highest selling game in the Mega Man series, having sold over 1.5 million copies. It was on the cover of the very first issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly. And not only is it number 4 on IGN's list of the best NES games and 67th on their top 100 games ever list, it also landed 3 bosses on their list of the top 10 Mega Man Robot Masters. EGM, which it was on the cover of the very first issue, later called it the 73rd best console game of all time. That was on a list in 1997, so that would have been up through the PlayStation N64 era. Nintendo Power has it 3rd on their best NES list and 33rd on their top 200 Nintendo games ever. And Game Informer called it the 32nd best game ever in 2001. And I had to show this to Ricky before we started, and I'll drop a link to it in the description of the episode, so you can check it out on YouTube. It inspired a popular parody song in Japan called, and I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, I apologize in advance, Airman ga Taosenai, or Can't Beat Airman. Which is an entire 3-minute song about how the narrator of the song can't beat Airman, which is an understandable position to be in. This game has some really hard levels. Airman and Quickman, in my opinion, being the 2 hardest. But
yeah, Airman. Yeah. What was your other one? Sorry,
Quickman.
Airman and Quickman.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because Quickman's supposedly the first one you're supposed to beat.
Oh no, you can't beat Quickman without having beat Flashman.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't beat Quickman without having beat Flashman. The only way I can get through Quickman is if I can freeze those lasers before they hit me.
I don't think I went in a specific order, to be honest, so I don't know. But
I always start with Metal Man, just because his weapon is so effective, and you get a lot of it for, you can fire off way more metal blades than you can just about any other weapon.
Oh yeah, you're right. It does look like Quickman is the hardest one.
Yeah, I was saying Quickman, I think, was the second to last one I beat.
Yeah, that's true, because you need was it Metal Man to stop time or something, right?
Flashman.
Don't you need the Flashman? You're right.
Yeah.
That's right. That is right.
I mean, supposedly you can beat it without that. I've just never been able to do it in 32 years of having played it. And I have been, I own it. I've been playing Mega Man 2 since 1989. It's still, it's great. It is every bit deserving of this number 4 seed. I could argue having it as the number 2 seed. I would put this ahead of Zelda, personally. But also we kind of discussed that Zelda wasn't quite either of our jams. So maybe that's not saying much. But yeah, no, I love this game. I could just play this all day, every day.
I agree. It's most iconic music-wise is the bosses are iconic as well now.
Yep.
And just the power-ups. The power-ups are great.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like
and,
this
and
game.
it's hard, but it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Yeah,
It's more annoying.
It's more challenging than it is hard, I would say. It's
Right.
the right balance of like, oh, I should have made that jump versus like, oh, this game sucked. That jump is impossible. Yeah, there is one jump in the game that is literally impossible unless you have a certain item, but fortunately you can't get to that place until you have that item. It's in Wily's castle, I think, where you've got you're on the one platform in the lower right corner, and there's a ladder in the upper left corner, and the only way to get to it is to use item 1 and like hop, skip, and jump your way up. But yeah, I mean, I have most of my notes are like, oh, this is great. This music is so good. There are not quite enough e-canisters, but the music is so great. And spoiler before we get there of Who Made It Farther, the right before, because we both made it to this point, we talked about it beforehand. Right before, after you beat all the last of the robot bosses, and before you go to fight Wily for the final time, and you're like walking down this hallway, and there's like this grip of that stuff coming down from the ceiling that kind of looks like blood or like oil or something. There's no music there. It's the only time in the entire game when it's just natural sound, and it adds such a sense of terror to the whole thing. Like this whole time you've had this really cool 8-bit soundtrack playing through the whole game, and then you just beat, like, you're headed for the final showdown, and all you can hear is grip.
It does build it up. It's like, ooh, we're getting ready for the end.
Yeah. Also, I did make a note that before every boss fight, you get the screen, where it shows the boss like in that like light blue script. I made a note that Flashman looks like John Walker from Falcon and Winter Soldier. When he's first introduced, spoiler alert for Falcon and Winter Soldier, if you haven't watched it yet, skip ahead 15 seconds. But when he's first revealed as Captain America and he comes out and he just looks kind of dopey with the chin strap, I think that Flashman looks like that.
Yeah. Thinking about it, you're right. He kind of does wear U.S. agent. Spoilers.
Yeah. We've now spoiled the premiere and the finale of.
Let's be honest, our listeners have watched it.
Yeah. If you're listening to a podcast about video games, you watched the new Marvel superhero show.
Yeah, and if not, well, then shame on you. No,
then you should have. It's been out for a few weeks now. It's almost time for Loki, so you got to keep up. And like we're 2 months away from Black Widow coming out, and we can actually go and see it in a theater because we'll be fully vaccinated, and like I'll still wear a mask, but I can actually go and see it in the theater and not be like super paranoid.
That is true.
Yeah, most of my notes are about I'm 20 minutes in and I've already beat 5 of the bosses, and just like keeping kind of a running log on how far I made it, which I guess makes for a natural segue into Who Made It Farther. You got something else you want to talk about?
So, I mean, we could put it to the Who Made It Farther. We could definitely go to that because I wanted your experiences against the bosses. Like, which one was your hardest boss?
The hardest boss? Yeah.
We could do that a little side.
Yeah. I mean, for me it was Wily. It was the final boss was the actual hardest.
Oh yeah.
But of the robot masters.
Yeah, of the 8. I'll tell you mine. Mine is Crash Man.
I was gonna say for me it's probably either Crash Man or Heat Man. Yeah. Heat Man is easy if you can time your shots right, but if you can't, you're screwed. But yeah, Crash Man is a huge pain. Yeah, he's probably the hardest boss. his level isn't the hardest, but he is.
No, and Crashman's so easy to beat. Like 4 shots and he's dead.
Mhm.
It's just getting those shots, man.
Yep.
It's just
And his like his
such a
little
pain.
grenade things do a lot of damage, and he just moves so fast. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my fake Crashman. For
Yeah.
sure.
I would agree with that.
Look at us.
Who made it for them? Who made it for them?
So Maniac Mansion, this is a hard one to judge because there's no like
Yeah, I have no
linear
idea.
storytelling. I was basically in the same point in the story this time as I was last time, with the exception of the fact that I figured out how to get out of the dungeon. I found there's a loose brick under one of the windows that if you press it, one of the doors opens very briefly. So if you have 2 people in there, one of them can escape.
See, I don't even remember going in a dungeon. So
Oh, you never got caught by one of the family members?
no, the only time no, so I got up to where the family member was like, I'll get you this time. And he's
Mhm.
like outside of the building of the house.
Mhm.
And then you come in and the girl is like, here, give me a key or something. I know it's terrible explanation, but let me see. I don't
I
even
think where in the
know.
story that was. So it's like after he gets the delivery and goes outside.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the dad comes out and he's like, I'll get you next time.
Oh,
I don't know.
you may have actually made it farther than I. The only person I ever saw leave the house was the son.
Wait, but I don't remember the dungeon part.
Well, that only happens if you like walk in on a family member in one of the rooms, and then they take you down into the dungeon and get you like trapped down there. So like if you accidentally walk into Weird Ed's room before he leaves to go get his package, um, he'll just like grab you and take you into the dungeon. So what was it? Who was the doctor yelling at when he went outside and was
I think
I
it
don't know, he's
was,
gonna get you?
it might have been the brother. I think that's what I'm talking about. Doesn't he yell at the brother?
Oh, maybe. You may have made it farther than I did. I don't remember that.
I don't know. Maybe there's a chance you like do things in different scenarios and you don't go to the dungeon.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
Because I don't remember. I don't even know what the dungeon looks like. Well, you know what? This is your game, so I'm going to give this one for you because I honestly don't care. I did not like this game.
Okay.
I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, I guess because all the walkthroughs are going to be different depending on which characters you pick. So, all right. Well, I'll take a pity point. I'm not above that. You do still lead me by 7 points. Well, now it's 6. So Mega Man 2, we have brought up the point that we
Oh,
both
Mega Man
made it
2.
to Wily. Did you beat him?
Pat, I'm sorry to say, I did not beat him. I failed. I did not beat Mega Man 2 this run. I just came short.
Victory
I beat
is
him.
mine.
I beat the first one.
Mm-hmm. Like the first version of his chip.
Yes, but then the second round, I ran out of time.
Well, I
which is
beat
kind of
it.
shocking, but
Yeah, I beat it in
Yeah.
1 hour and 44 minutes. So I had 16 minutes to spare at the end of my 2 hours. I had beaten all 8 bosses in less than an hour. Basically, it took me as long to beat Wily's castle as it did to get to Wily's castle. So
Yeah, honestly.
yeah. So if you can't beat the 8 bosses in less than an hour, you're probably not going to beat the game. So if you let it sounds like happen was it takes about an hour to get through the castle. So if you didn't have that much time left, then
Well,
yeah,
no, it took me forever to beat. I'll be honest, I had trouble beating Crash Man,
yeah,
and then when I had to beat him again, I was like, I can't do
right.
this. But yeah, you got me, man. You finally beat a game too.
Heck yeah, it's my first 2-pointer. And the lead, just like that, is down to 4.
Dun dun
We'll see
dun.
how well that holds up next week, which, Mega Man May does continue next week. We will play Mega Man 3 as it takes on Kid Nicky, Radical Ninja, which was not a game
Yay.
either of us liked very much in round 1. And I suspect we probably didn't like it that much this time around either, especially since it was
No.
up against probably the second best Mega Man game of all time. Definitely the second best for the NES. I guess you could probably make an argument that one of the X games is better than 3, but all of them are better than Kid Nicky Radical Ninja.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about it next week. But
Yeah.
that game definitely felt like it should have
Garbage.
belonged in the next round, to be honest. But
Yeah. I don't remember what it was.
what
that
did it go
beat
up
in round
against?
1. Oh, Demon Sword. That's why.
Yes,
Demon Sword, which is probably one of my bottom 5 games for the whole show
Most
so far.
generic game ever.
Yeah, where you just run and jump forever because there's no like gravity or anything. It's just so broken. And
Yeah.
weird like giant bosses that don't really do any good. If you get like a key, but there's nothing that the key opens, and oh, that was such a bad game. So that's why Kid Nicky advanced. Kid Nicky advanced and Tecmo Super Bowl didn't. Kid Nicky advanced and Mega Man 6 didn't. Kid Nicky, there were so many good games that got knocked out in round 1, and Kid Nicky took their spot. Kid Nicky advanced and Kickle Cubicle didn't. Spy Hunter didn't. Dragon Warrior 3 didn't.
Yeah, and they
I'll
all
say it
would have.
again, Tecmo Super Bowl. Little Nemo.
Tecmo, wait, one more time. Tecmo
What?
Super Bowl.
Also Tecmo Super Bowl, yes. Yeah,
Man.
mention Tecmo Super Bowl. So I guess we probably ought to go ahead and say that I think we both agree with 75% of our online vote that said Mega Man 2 should advance to face Little Samson in round 3. I'm definitely voting for it.
Yeah, man. Mega Man 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Taking this one.
Yep. So Mega Man 2 moves on, and that gives us 20. That gives us 3/4 of the next round all set. 24 of the 32. We've just got a few spots left to fill, and we'll do another one next week. But first, we always get good questions from our pal Ryan O from Did You Know with Ryan O. His question of the week is: if you were to create a mutant humanoid fighting team like the Turtles, Battletoads, Biker Mice, etc., what animal or creature would you use? Basically, we're creating our own team of like anthropomorphized animals, like the Ninja Turtles, the Battletoads, the Biker Mice from Mars, the Street Sharks, the SWAT Cats.
What?
Because there was a ton of those back then. Everybody wanted in on the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
So
there were
it's
some
hard
good
to
ones,
think
man.
of.
Street Sharks, Michael.
Yeah.
Was it
Biker Mice from Mars?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Which there's a Super Nintendo game that's supposed to be really good of Biker Mice from Mars. Like one of those random, like, I don't know why this mediocre show got such a killer game, but all right. So I'll have to play that at some point. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that's
Already done.
not already done and not like super obvious. So I'm picturing giraffes. Um,
I hate them. Why giraffes?
just because they're like the least smooth and elegant looking animals I could think of, because they're
Oh
just
my
like
god.
all legs and neck. Like, and they couldn't be ninjas because, how do you sneak around when you're, 30 feet tall? Yeah, I'm going with giraffes. But they also
Uh,
like still wear masks when they go out so as not to reveal their identities as giraffes. Yeah.
I can't top that, but I'm gonna say llamas.
Llamas are good too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different type of llamas. Maybe
Yeah.
or maybe farm animal llamas, a goat. You know,
Yeah, maybe it's llamas and their splinter is a goat. And instead of pizza,
I
they just
love it.
eat garbage.
I think we have quality shows in our hand, and I think once again we should pitch it to
I
someone
agree.
who will understand that we make hits.
Heck yeah. Absolutely.
Giraffe. What would you call the giraffes?
Hmm. Like individually or the team?
The team.
They would be the trying to think of something like alliterative with like gentle giant giraffe
Gentle giants.
geniuses. They're like hackers. They're hacker giraffes. Gentle giant genius giraffes.
I like
Gentle
it.
giant genius giraffes. No, that have to have a different theme song because that's blatant ripoff.
I would go. I would name mine Farmhouse. I don't know. I think.
Well, Rhino, thanks for the curveball this week. That was coming on the heels of the shield question from last week. Uh, this was a head scratcher. I liked it. But yeah, you can see the results of all of these matchups on our challenge page, challenge.com/kings of consoles. You can see all, at this point, 59 results. Next week, when that episode drops, you will be able to see Mega Man 2 move on to that showdown with Little Samson, which is the 4 against the 95, I think. 93, because Little Samson just keeps pulling off upsets. But it's got to face Mega Man too. You can contribute to the show financially if you'd like at ko-fi.com/kings of consoles. You can watch a stream at twitch.tv/kings of consoles, which reminds me I should probably get on there and play some Tecmo soon. Facebook.com/kings of consoles.
Let it die. Let it die. Let
Never,
it die.
never. My greatest regret in this show was Tecmo not advancing.
Hey, the people spoke.
And the
They
people were
chose.
wrong. We are at Kings
Actually,
of
they did
Consoles.
it. We actually flipped the coin, but whatever.
That's right. Yes, they were they
Yeah.
were split just as we were,
Yeah.
which means they were wrong. It means that an equal number of them were wrong as were right. Yeah, we're at Kings of Consoles on Twitter. I'm at Loopy Date.
And I'm at Ricky GN7.
You can email us, kingsofconsolespod@gmail.com. Of course, subscribe on whatever podcast app you're listening to us on. We have had a really nice growth over the last couple of weeks. We hit that 1,000 milestone last week, and our daily downloads jumped from there. So I don't know if that boosted us up in the search results, or if our listeners are doing a really good job of spreading the word, or if we did wind up getting that "how did this get played" bump from from our comment on that thread of the 9x9. I don't know what it is, but thank you all the new listeners, and thank you to any existing listeners who have stuck with us and are recommending us to your friends.
100%.
We appreciate it.
100%. Thank you guys. We do this
So-
for you and for us,
Yeah.
but mostly for you.
And us. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. This started because we wanted to play old games.
Yeah.
I think we built a fun little community with a handful of our regulars that reach out to us, but also it's always fun coming across new people. So thanks for listening. Subscribe if you're not already. Rate and review the show on whatever podcast app you're listening on, and play old games.
Play old
We'll,
games.
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Kings of Consoles is recorded in Nashville and Orlando and is produced and edited by me, Pat Dooley. Thanks to Captive Portal for our theme song, intro for a non-existent video game, which can be found at freemusicarchive.org. And the music and sound effects from this week's games can be found with a quick Google search. The opinions expressed in this and every episode are our own, and we are in no way sponsored by or affiliated with Nintendo. We're just big fans.